Hello, my name is Brett J, and I'm talking about our summer strength and conditioning. We call it Lake Lifts. Today is Monday, which is Agility Day. We have three different sessions, A, B, and C. A and B are done in the weight room, and C is done outside, which is what I'm talking about today. There's our different list of agilities that we do. Our first one is our L drill. Um, we uh, we really enjoy the L drill. It's a traditional exercise that's done at the NFL Combine. Remember, agility is going from a start to full speed as quickly as possible. That's what we consider it. Getting in and out of our breaks. So you can see right here with the L drill, players are going to drive to the first cone. They're going to work their way back. Then they go back up and around. And each time their goal is to get in and out of their breaks and to be cutting in tight spaces. And so, we don't believe in changing up a ton of drills. We pick our 6 to 8 drills that we want to work on all summer. And then so players aren't guessing or learning how to do the drill. They're actually learning how to just continue to improve their agility. Touching the cones is important. See, the best thing we've done is we did 2 L drills at one time. The losers got push-ups, right? We try to compete in everything we do. You know, that competition idea that Pete Carroll, every coach talks about, but Pete Carroll made it famous in competing at our highest level as often as possible, and this is one of them. So we have a coach back there in the middle. He claps his hands like just like a track starter. That turns our guys as loose, and then they compete. Once they get to the back of the line, losers got 5 push-ups. We have everybody from inside receivers and running backs to offensive tackles do the L drill. It's as important as anyone to win the first 6 inches of every play. That's our goal with agility. And so that's why we work on it every single Monday. Now this is a 10 to 11 week summer camp. Every Monday is agility. We have 5 different agility drills as well as the agility ladder. So we do 3 reps. Each player gets 3 reps of L drill work, and that's all they get. So if we have 8 Mondays or 9 Mondays throughout the summer, well then they're going to get 24 total reps on the L drill all summer long. Next up, we have our lateral shuffle. We developed this about 5 years ago. Athletes, we set down a cone or a med ball, and athletes are going to work laterally, very similar to how football players work over bags, but we just do it over these med balls right here. The goal is to get our knees up, continue to work the flexibility and strength of our hip flexors. Our goal is to pump our arms, get in rhythm with our arms, and then get off of our plant foot as quickly as possible. We want to transition, moving from one way laterally to the next as quickly as possible. We have figured out that it's better to have two lines of this going at once. It's often great to have guys compete with each other. And again, we try to make a competition out of everything. But, this is one of our more favorite drills. We think, there's certain drills that you get, more bang for your buck, and this is definitely one of them. Again, our goal is not to have to teach a new drill each week. Our goal is for our players to figure out how to improve their agility skill and getting in and out of breaks and changing directions as quickly as possible. We have all athletes do this, skill guys, linebackers, receivers, all the way down to our offensive and defensive linemen as well. So great posture is important. You can see guys here when they're getting in and out of their plant foot, they're very balanced, and they're working their arms. Our legs are only going to pump as fast as our arms do, and this is a drill that shows that. I'm going to kind of bounce back to how often we do our agility day. It's every single Monday throughout the course of the summer. Usually we have squats on Monday in our lower half. We incorporate knees over toes guys, so we're doing things like tib bar lifts, the Nordics. We're doing some band work for our hip flexors. And then when we go outside, it's a perfect transition that we're doing agility and to finish off our legs. Again, this is a 10, 11-week program. Based on where 4th of July is at, we'll get through this Monday workout A, B, and C that I mentioned previously on our whiteboard. A and B are in the weight room, C's outside. We'll get through this entire workout usually up to about 8 times in a summer. So when athletes really start, improving their foot speed, we get into that week 5, which is right where we're at right now, week 5 of our program, and we really start to notice guys quickening up a little bit. And it takes work. It's only the guys that are consistent that are going to be the ones that improve. And so stressing the importance of we got to get there, 6 to 8 to as many Mondays as we possibly can. That's how we're going to get faster. Again, we started with using cones. We've used hurdles before, but you step on the hurdles, they break. Guys, it's kind of easy to go around cones. And so we've just recently transitioned to these med balls, which are fantastic. You can see a kid right here. He's 6'6", 315 pounds, and you can see how much better his lateral movement is based on this one drill. And that's the goal, is us to enter a drill and evaluate and see where guys are at, and making sure that these drills improve what we're searching for in that 8 to 11 week time frame of our summer conditioning. Here's a year ago we had the cones. This is another way for you to set this drill up. Sometimes the guys will go in between the cones or around, but still another great way to do our lateral shuffle drill. Again, knees up, pumping our arms, shoulders over toes, and getting our arms in rhythm. Okay, lightning is one of our favorite drills throughout our summer program. This drill has evolved from the 3-cone drill that we do with our running backs into our agility drill. We found these cones on campus, and it's as good as those sticks that stick in the ground. It really allows our guys to have to work around an object rather than maybe lean over a cone. And so my favorite part about this is obviously the start and to get to full speed as quickly as possible. I also you'll see our athletes sinking their hips, getting their shoulders over their toes, and dipping that shoulder to get around the cone, the stand-up cone. The other good part is when they have to almost sweep the ground with their hand. That's a drill that our receivers do against press man coverage. And so there's a lot of different ways that this drill translates to the field. Every athlete in our program will do this drill every single Monday on Agility Day. So right here you can see our offensive linemen, which I'm just very impressed with their commitment to this drill and how much they've improved. Even in the first 4 to 5 weeks of camp, guys are getting to each cone at a much quicker rate, and you're starting to see a little bit more ankle bend, a little bit more knee bend as they work around the stand-up cones. So this is primarily our O-line, D-line group mixed in with some younger guys here. We have a coach that'll stand on top of this drill and really preach, get our shoulders over our toes, sink our hips at the cone, and really throw our inside elbow to try to get us transition into the next cone as quickly as possible. Over the years, the length between each cone has varied. We've had it where it's much shorter, more of a 3-cone drill. Where they're doing more of a stick with their outside leg. Then one year we lengthened it out a little bit, and we realized this is definitely the sweet spot in length for the drill. And our guys are just improving at a much quicker rate. Our times in our shuttle, our 5-10-5, have gone up once we implemented this drill. Plus, again, I can't tell you, we're in the high school, middle school, and youth business, and a lot of it has to do with player engagement. And I know that it can sound silly at times, but the more different equipment we have out here, the more interesting it gets for the athletes, and the more committed they are. So just using some different variations of cones like these stand-ups can increase the engagement. We always talk about we're in control of 2 things: our effort and our attitude. Those got to be at a 10 all the time, and so that plays kind of a part into this as well. But full effort, full speed, sink our hips at the cone, sprint to the next cone as fast as you can. We're going to start fast, and we're going to finish strong. Starting fast is you can see they're in a 2-point stance at the 2 small cones to start, and that's starting fast, and then they're going to finish as strong as possible through the last cone it does get long. It is a form of conditioning here, strength and conditioning, what we talk about. And so we really talk to them about finishing strong through the very last cone. In our strength and conditioning program, we test out on just some core lifts and some core drills. So bench squat, incline, power clean, deadlifts, 40-yard dash, shuttle, and vertical test. And every single one of our drills and our lifts are going to work towards bettering those numbers. And so our players understand that this drill is going to help them improve their shuttle time. We do have record boards that all show and do a video on later on. One of the greatest motivators for our players, are things like numbers and getting their name on the wall. Our shuttle drill is a 5-yard sprint into a 10-yard sprint and finishing with a 5-yard sprint. It's one of the most traditional agility drills there are. This first one, you can see they have great technique. They've worked at this over the years. A lot of it is technique, touching with the right hand, whether it's the line or the cone, then finishing through that middle cone. This is one of the more traditional agility drills, but because it's so effective, just teaching guys how to get in and out of their break, how to stop and start and get to full speed as quickly as possible. We do this drill, so an athlete will do this on Monday. They'll get 3 reps. They'll do this maybe 8 times throughout the summer, so that's a total of 24 reps with the shuttle drill. We call this agility drill the tire toe tap. We're utilizing our tractor tires that we flip on Thursdays into our agility day on Monday. You can see right here, this is another traditional agility lift or agility drill. Usually athletes are getting their knees up, on maybe a step or anything like a box. We're using tires. It's really developing their hip flexors, their flexibility, but their hip flexor strength. We believe speed has a lot to do with strong hip flexors, and so this drill is going to develop that. We talk a lot about opposite arm, opposite legs. We'll have a coach on top of the drill we'll be telling our athletes, coaching our athletes, hey, make sure you got working your arms. Your legs only move as fast as your arms pump. The goal is to have a good posture to stand upright. Now with this drill, there's some good demonstrations right here. This drill can easily teach players bad habits like any drill that start leaning backwards, get their chest up with their chin up. That's not what we want. We want our athletes to have good posture, standing straight up and down, pumping their arms. Hands go hip to ear is what we say, hip to ear as fast as possible. If they're flexing their arms, we tell them to hold potato chips with their fingers. Their toes have to be in line with their knee. We want to see dorsiflexion and just driving those knees up as they pump here. They do 3 sets of 20 is our rep count. So they'll go to 20 reps as quickly as possible. It might take 10 to 15 to seconds, and then we'll get them to full recovery. We tell our athletes on agility, let's get to full recovery. You only have 6 drills, so maybe 18 reps total. So full recovery is vital. Our agility ladder circuit, it's as good as any. We do this every single day. So, if we have 36 to 38 lifts in a summer, athletes are going to work the agility ladder, 36 to 38 times. So they're going to get their knees up. This is just a circuit we go through. 1 foot each square, get our knees up, pumping our arms, hands go hip to ear. We like good posture. Second time through, we go 2 steps each square. It's not a race on how quickly you can get through, but we are trying to drive our knees as high as we can, as quickly as possible, to develop our turnover as we work through the ladder here. So you can see athletes going 2 feet each square. Hands got to go hip to ear. Our legs are only going to pump as fast as our arms move. Next up, we have what we call the icky shuffle. These first 3 drills are, everyone knows these ladder drills, very common, but we get really good at them. And so, they're going 2 feet each square, 1 foot out. They're planting off that outside foot as quickly as possible, getting right back into the ladder, working through the ladder as quickly as possible. We tell them just to get their arms in rhythm. Great sprinters are great dancers, and so, we can create a little rhythm here in this. So all athletes do this. It's as important for our O-line to get this as it is our skill guys. We like our athletes to take ownership in our camp, so we'll tell them to show up with the different ladder drill that we want to put to use. So the other day, an athlete came through and said, "Let's do the Icky Shuffle backwards." So this is the Icky Shuffle going backwards through it. Just another way to keep it interesting, to keep our kids, working their feet in as many different ladder drills as we can. Next up, we have the Moses Lake two-step. You're going to go 2 feet out. Your back foot that touches the square will touch in. It's the back foot. We're really talking about flipping our hips. Great athletes have great hips, whether it's creating torque or power with your hips, but being able to flip your hips as quickly as possible, getting in and out of breaks is crucial. And this drill does that. It develops that. We let our arms get in rhythm. We tell our guys, hey, you're going to mess up the ladder. We want you to push your foot speed to the breaking point. That's how we're going to get better, is going past the line. And so it's okay if we snag the ladder every now and then, because we know that you're working your foot speed trying to get better. Here's another example of the Moses Lake two-step. You'll see this move here at most homecoming dances. It's a great ladder drill that improves our foot speed, but as well as our hips. So you can see kind of the full length here, guys flipping their hips, generating some torque, working back, getting in and out of the break. Here's another example of the Moses Lake two-step. This one takes a little bit to get used to. They're always wanting to put their front foot in the square, but really it's the back foot which requires them to flip their hip. Constantly looking at biomechanics and how to get drills to translate to the field, and certain drills will help an athlete in this specific predicament and in those kind of things, and that's what we're talking about here. Next up, we have the typewriter. Our athletes are going to go 2 feet each square. They're going to lead with their front foot, so you can see them lead on the first ladder with their left foot, and on the way back through, they're going to lead with their right foot. Shoulders over toes, pumping their arms, getting their arms in rhythm, and working that lateral foot speed as quickly as possible. I'm going to throw out a number for you. So if we do this 36 times, if we have 36 lifts in a summer, right? 36 lifts in a summer. That's a big number, and we're doing ladders, every single day. That means that, and we're doing about 7 to 8 different ladder drills. So I'll just 36, 7. That's 252 reps. I believe in quantifying things and putting a number to it. Compounding every single day. We're compounding. We're stacking days. All those good terms. I believe in that. And so we let our athletes know, hey, you're going to start at this level, but by the end of this thing, if you give us full effort, remember the 2 things we control: effort and attitude. If you give us full effort, I guarantee you your foot speed is going to improve and you're going to be a better athlete. Here's scissors. Again, generating foot speed, but as well as torque and power with our hips. Our arms are going to get in rhythm. And you can see who has better hips here and who doesn't, but or who might be a weakness. We all have strengths and weaknesses, but it's just another great drill. How quickly can we go? Both feet will be in the square, or will touch the square throughout this drill. This is a good one. It's good. You can see who really needs to work on their hip movement as well as their foot speed. This is called the scissors. We try to put a name to everything, so guys can they also can work on their own, but just catchy, and they enjoy putting names to things. There's some good hips right there. Yeah, that's good. That's good movement. So they're working their way through. This is a full view here. You can see how their arms are completely moving and help generating that hip strength, flipping their hips. Next up, we have the skis. This is actually one of my favorites because we're working through the ladder as quickly as possible. Great knee bend. It kind of simulates a jump cut in football. We're keeping our toes pointed forward. We're keeping our balance, and we're just going to work our way right through the ladder as quickly as possible. I've noticed that keeping our toes pointing forward does help us get through quicker, but this takes some coordination. And it's a quick assessment too of whose feet are in a good spot and who needs to work on them. Here's a full body view of this. It's a quick one. It's probably one of the quicker agility ladder drills that we do. I really stress keeping our knees bent, being in a very good athletic position. I don't want to get too tall with this one. We talk about with our, okay, we got yoga. We got yoga going. We do this 15 minutes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have our instructors lead it. We believe a flexible muscle is a fast muscle and a flexible muscle is a strong muscle. Players have really bought into our Tuesday and Thursday yoga. Whether you call it yoga, stretching, it doesn't really matter to us. We're just going to get on the mat and stretch it out. Thank you for joining us with our Agility Day. We do this once a week. I will post our Tuesday video next.